Welcome back to Module 10. Let's open up Lesson 4 and talk about the piece that ties an entire wireless network together. In this lesson, we're going to break down the Wireless LAN Controller, or WLC, and the architecture it lives in. The idea to keep in mind from the very start is simple. One brain, many access points. That single phrase will guide everything we cover today. So, what exactly does that brain do? 4 big jobs. First, central configuration. You define your SSIDs and policies once on the controller, and it pushes them out to every AP that's joined over CAPWAP. Second, RF management, where the controller automatically tunes channels and transmit power across your APs using RRM, so they're not stepping on each other. Third, roaming control. It coordinates fast, seamless handoffs as clients move between APs. And fourth, security and monitoring, client authentication, rogue AP detection, and the dashboards you'll actually live in day to day. One box, 4 critical roles. Now, that brain doesn't have to live in just one place. The classic option is a unified appliance, dedicated hardware sitting in your data center, but you can also run the controller embedded on a Catalyst switch or hand it off entirely to the cloud with something like Meraki. And in smaller deployments, the WLC function can even run on an access point itself. That's Embedded Wireless Controller, or EWC. The pattern stays identical everywhere. APs register to a controller. Only the controller's address on the map changes. Wherever that controller lives, it talks to the rest of the network through a handful of logical interfaces, and you'll want to know these cold for the exam. The management interface is where you administer the WLC and where CAPWAP tunnels terminate from your APs. The dynamic interface, sometimes called the WLAN interface, is the important one. It's what stitches each SSID to its VLAN, so your guest network and your corporate network land in the right places. The virtual interface handles client-facing authentication, things like web login redirects, and the service port is your out-of-band lifeline, separate from production traffic, for when you need to get in the back door. Now, once your controller is in place, how does a lightweight AP actually find it and come online? The sequence is worth memorizing. First, the AP picks up an IP address via DHCP, and if option 43 is configured, that lease also whispers the controller's IP. Next, the AP discovers the WLC through DHCP, DNS, or a local broadcast. Then, a CAPWAP tunnel forms, secured with DTLS. The controller checks the LP's firmware and updates it if needed, and finally pushes down the configuration, at which point the AP starts broadcasting its SSIDs. And that wraps up Lesson 4. Next up, we shift from getting access points online to locking them down. Lesson 5 dives into wireless security, covering WPA2, WPA3, 802.1x authentication, and pre-shared keys. If this lesson helped things, click, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. The full Ccna course is free on YouTube and over at Dargslan.com. See you in the next one.